Hello everyone and welcome to Flickering Myth TV. My name is EJ Marino and today I'm excited to dive into a brand new live action Disney remake. Oh boy, we are talking about Mulan. First and foremost, I want to start this review off by saying I love reviewing a movie like Mulan. Whether I liked or disliked this movie, it's a movie that I had 2 pages of notes for. I haven't felt this many feelings about a movie in quite some time, and I'm even counting things like Tenet and New Mutants, like some of the newer ones. This movie actually made me feel so many things. I have things I really enjoy about the movie, I have things I really dislike about the movie, but overall, I'm gonna say I enjoyed the experience of Mulan. I think it is a well-made film that has a lot to offer. It changes up from the source material to provide something new for fans, but it also, it struggles with trying to find its own voice and its own attitude as well. So I'm kind of conflicted, but I do overall enjoy a movie that made me feel something. As critics, I think a lot of us know this feeling of when we've seen a movie, it ends and you're like, alright, I just watched a movie. This one actually made me go, oh my god, I can't wait to talk about it, especially with you guys, because there is a lot to discuss from this movie. So I'm going to start off my review with my pros and then go to my cons. I usually don't do it as structured as this, but my pros and cons were really split down the middle, so I feel it's the fairest way of looking at it. So my pros, to look at this film, I have to say on a technical aspect, the visual effects, the art direction, and the cinematography were very striking. There's moments from each that I genuinely enjoy. The cinematography, there's something I don't really I love. There's something there I don't connect with all the time. We'll get into it because that's in one of my negatives, but for the most part, I thought the cinematography was really great. There's a lot of traditional Chinese cinematography that I see in here. A lot of the wide shots so we could see those wire work moments. The action, the camera felt fluid with a lot of the action. It followed characters around. There's a lot of stuff in here that I loved from the visual department. That also goes with not just the camera, but the stuff presented on screen. The art direction for this movie is incredible. The sets, the costumes, the overall presentation of so many things. There's shots that I just went, wow, like it is hard for me to be blown away by, especially a Disney remake that it feels, most of these movies feel so CGI heavy. You go to like the Beauty and the Beast or the Jungle Book remake. This felt real and tangible. I felt like I could touch the sets. I felt like some of the action was done in camera. Oh my god, the wire work in here, I absolutely love. So yeah, I really love the vibe and the look of this movie. It is just so nice to just look at. I wish even if I don't love the script or the story, I could put this movie on mute and just stare at its beauty. One of the other positives I had in this movie was overall the acting was crazy impressive. My favorites happen to be Donnie Yen, who played the commander of our army. We also had Gong Li, who played the witch character. Both of them really stood out to me. As much as I don't love the witch character, which we'll talk about in my cons section, I thought she was a fantastic actress and really sold the character. Did I agree with her placement in the film? Do I wish there was more and or less of her? Sure, but just something about her was so striking. Same thing with Donnie Yen. I love this man. He is an incredible talent. I mean, even his little appearance he did in a Star Wars movie was so striking. He does so good. But everyone from the person who plays Mulan's father to Jason Scott Lee as the evil villainous kind of baddie guy to our titular Mulan. Yifei, I believe her name is great in this. There's moments I do feel she's a little dead in the face where I'm like, I wanted a more of a growl or a intensity. She's just very calm and demure for a lot of it, especially during the action scenes where she's doing all this crazy stuff and I'm like, give me some more in the face. But overall, her line delivery, her attitude, the way she played the boy Mulan character, there's just a lot that she does that is so good. I love seeing acting that is on this level. It's highbrow, it's good, it's fun, it's a little campy at times. There are some comedic elements from some other people as well. There's just an overall collection of actors I love, and it's an all Asian cast. It is so cool to see, especially after dealing with Aladdin last year, and they were like, and here is a white character to make white people happy, and I'm like, oh god, but to see an all Chinese cast just give it their all. It's just impressive. These actors do such a good job and really sell the film. Now, the last thing on my positives is a big thing. It is the whole middle section of this movie. Everything in the training facility, from the time she gets there to when they leave for that big battle and then have the big battle with the avalanche, all of that it's amazing. It is so great. I was invested in the characters. I was there. I was feeling them, the tension, the drama. There's just a lot of drama here. We have the fear that Mulan's always going to get caught. It's her trying to figure out her place. It's her trying to do better as a soldier. You also had the weird chemistry between her and Chen's character. Oh boy. We all remember that weird relationship where that character was like in love with boy Mulan, but then found out she was a girl at the end of the animated movie and was like, oh, thank God I'm not gay. This movie has a very similar vibe, and I love it even more. There's a great chemistry between Mulan's character and Chen's character. They're just vibing with each other. It's the way he looks at the characters, the way he speaks to them. It's really nice to see. The whole middle section of this, I was so invested in. I don't really love the beginning of the movie, and I think the end is probably the most problematic part of this film, but that middle, I was invested. I was hooked, line, and sinkered into all of this. I didn't even need, I'll make a man out of you. I didn't need all of that. Like, I needed the good acting that was here, the training. I felt it. I believed it. This was, I think, the best part of the whole movie. Now, looking at my cons, it's a little odd of what I don't like about this movie, because I think it's going to be what sells a lot of other people on the film. For me, this movie feels like an MCU movie at times, from the low stakes to the lackluster villain to the weird, let's give Mulan the superpower of the chi. Oh my goodness, I was not here for any of that. I'm not going to get into full spoilers, but they give Mulan a reason of why she's so good at this. You know, she's more tapped into her chi, which could make her a witch, because when women use it, that's power, you know, that's dangerous. We only need the men to focus on the chi to be good soldiers. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't really into the chi stuff. I thought it was a cheap, lazy way of trying to explain why Mulan was good at things instead of her just being good at things. They were like, she's better with a chi than anyone else. And it's like, okay, cool. And then the way they would shoot her doing these scenes, and it just the weird motion blur effect to it, it just felt like straight up a MCU superhero movie scene where it's just like, and here is their power. It's the same thing, you know, I don't know. I'm just really flustered by why I wasn't engaged by the action parts of this movie, and why the overall hero's journey of this felt so cliched. It's starting to see that Disney really likes this formula that they've made in the Marvel movies, and they're like, well, we can't just do a shot-for-shot remake like we did with Lion King, or even like Beauty and the Beast to an extent. Let's completely change this up, but we don't have a lot of stuff to offer because we're Disney, so let's just make an MCU movie. That's what this screamed to me. It's the whole, like, mandated under 2 hours. It's the weird, the lack of energy in that finale reminds me so much of what I don't love about the MCU final acts with the villain. And the villains in here are lackluster at best. I could probably say worse words about the villains in here, which I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, that's what screams to me. It reminds me of like the Age of Ultron movie. Let's use that for an MCU example, where it's like, Ultron, oh, a cool villain to the, you know, until we get to the end. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Same thing here. There's a big battle at the end, and it's not even a big battle. There's a fight at the end. Let's use that. The big battle is before the end. So we get to this fight at the end of the movie, and I'm not like engaged. I'm not connected. There's low stakes. I just needed more from the end of this movie. Something else I wasn't in love with, and this is going to get into a light spoiler element, but there is a fantasy vibe to this movie. And it's interesting because they took out the Mushu character, which I'm so happy for. I didn't really get into that. I'm not a fan of the original Mulan because I don't like the Mushu character. I like the songs, but I didn't think it fit into that film. I like that this is more of a straight up drama, and that works for me. But there's just something about the fantasy elements. We have the witch character, then we have the cheese stuff, and then we have this phoenix that's like an overarching kind of vibe or motif to the movie. That's where you lose me. I just kind of, again, wanted just a straight up war film. And of course, it's Disney. Of course, like I said, those MCU elements, we have to like add in superhero vibes to it to make it sellable to the younger audiences. I just wasn't engaged with the fantasy element. I just wanted this to make a straight up war epic, and it's there. There's things I really like about the war and the action stuff when we weren't just doing hand-to-hand combat and we were doing like, here's the catapults, here's Mulan strategizing, here's us getting into defense position. That stuff was cool. I really was there for all that. But then as soon as we were just like, here's Mulan having a battle and here's her slow-mo kick into the air, here's the witch character making her like coat jacket fly into the air, and when we get to like Jet Li's emperor character, oh my goodness, when we started doing the fantasy elements, I started tuning out a tiny bit, which isn't fair to the movie, but it's just that it didn't engage with me, it didn't connect with me. Like I said in the beginning of the con section, it being MCU-ish, the fantasy elements are really gonna maybe hook people in, but for me, it's what took me out of it. And that is it for my review of the new Mulan movie. As you can see by my review, I am conflicted with this film. There's things I really enjoy about it, there's things I don't like about it. It is a movie, though, I enjoyed watching because it made me feel something. I walked out of a movie and was like, I have things to talk about, and I'm so glad I got to talk about it with you guys today. Mulan comes out tomorrow. You guys should check this out. Should you spend the extra money to watch it? That is totally up to you. If you were hyped for this movie, I would say go and see it. If you were on the fence about it, just wait a little bit until it's able to be on Disney Plus just regularly. It's a tough one. I think this is watchable for sure. Just when you watch it is up to you guys. Alright guys, comment down below, subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week, and give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Alright guys, let's talk about Mulan down below.